What's going on, everyone? It's Jason Gafar. I just want to show you guys some incredible books that I recently just picked up just an hour ago. I went to, as a voracious reader, someone who frequents the Toronto Public Libraries, as well as being a university student at the University of Toronto. I go to those libraries as well. But one thing with the Toronto Public Library is that the type of books are very different from the books at University of Toronto's varied libraries. The books at the libraries at University of Toronto, they're more academic and scholarly books. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but as far as like personal reading, things that I find personally fulfilling, meaningful, and rewarding, I usually go to Toronto Public Library because a lot of those books they don't have at U of T's library. But anyways, I just picked up these extraordinary books. I picked up six of them, and they're all biographies. And these are some of my greatest heroes. So I'll show you guys what we're working with right now. Okay, so this is His Holiness Dalai Lama, Freedom in Exile, and I hope you guys can see that. So this is the first one, Freedom in Exile. This book was actually authored a really long time ago. So I read Freedom in Exile in 2014. I first read Freedom in Exile 2014 in the winter. I believe it was December. I got a really good memory. I remember that. And Freedom in Exile. It was authored by, I believe it was a British journalist or American journalist who went to Dharamsala, northern India, which is the residence. He went to the residence of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, where the Dalai Lama lives in exile, having escaped Tibet, his homeland Tibet. And this book was authored, the inherent one, Freedom in Exile. It was authored very shortly after the Dalai Lama made his escape into exile in India from Tibet due to the communist uprising. And this book, it really documents and accounts for the enormity of struggles of which the Dalai Lama had to endure fleeing Tibet, as well as his peoples, refugees, Tibetan refugees in northern India. And it was a very traumatic time for the Tibetan people. So this book really, it's just so compelling and fascinating. So I urge you guys to read this. This is the next one. This is called Singular Woman. So this book, for anyone who knows me, you'll know that Barack Obama is my greatest hero. And Barack Obama, while I love and respect Barack Obama's presidency, it's his childhood and what he overcame, which really I found very inspiring and motivating. He had, Barack Obama, he met his father once for a period of a week. I think he was 8 years old or 7 years old when he first met him. His mom, he was born to an 18-year-old teenage mother who was just completely absent for the majority of his life. Pretty much abandoned him when he was 10 years old. He was raised with his grandparents. And this book really explores Barack Obama's mother, who was a very dysfunctional woman. She had a good heart, but she was very disorganized and dysfunctional. This is another book, Leadership in Turbulent Times. This is by Doris Kearns Goodwin. She's a presidential historian, and she's authored, I believe, 5 books on some of the greatest U.S. presidents, Abraham Lincoln. She's authored a book on Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Theodore Roosevelt. And she's an extraordinary writer and a historian. This is a book on the great MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. So this is pretty much this biography. It accounts for the formation of in the formula period of the great MLK, leader of the civil rights movement. So I'm really looking forward to that. This is another one of my heroes, Aung San Suu Kyi, obviously from Burma. Currently, Aung San Suu Kyi, she's not the president of Burma, but she still wields substantial influence. For anyone who knows, Max Weber was a very renowned sociologist, political theorist, economist, historian, and legal scholar coming from 19th century Germany. And Max Weber, he wrote this really good essay on power and more impertinence to political power. And Max Weber, he cites three sources of political capital, if not power. And you have something called the power of charisma or influence. And Aung San Suu Kyi, despite the fact that she does not have institutional power, she has the power of charisma and influence. So when Aung San Suu Kyi says something that people in Burma, they pretty much they follow suit. So I'm really looking forward to that biography. This is not one of my heroes, but this is a former president of Israel, Sharon. He's a very controversial figure. If you are a strong supporter of Israel, more than likely on the right of the political spectrum, perhaps maybe you're a Zionist, and you are totally for the establishment, security, and prolonging of the state of Israel, then Sharon, I presume, would be a very good statesman in your view. I personally have a difference of opinion. I have my views are quite different concerning Israel, which I will not explore. But I have my mixed reservations concerning the politics of Israel. Just to summarize, I do think the Jewish people, I think they do totally deserve a state. But I think there's a lot of things which need to fundamentally be changed in pertinence to the state of Israel. And lastly, this book that I already posted up, Bill Clinton's biography. So I got all these books each for $1. It's a pretty good steal. So yeah, one thing, like, I love reading about people who have really done a lot with their life, people who have overcome a lot, people who have struggled and endured and persevered and surmounted. And I find all these people, they've really done some incredible things on this earth and with their life, and I find that very inspiring. So yeah, interesting thoughts. Peace.